Hello, I'm Dan from Enviolo Electric Bikes, and today we're going to do a full review of the Riese and Müller Tinker2 Vario. The bike that we've got here today is the Tinker2 Vario. The 2 on it means that it is a smart system, so it's got the new Bosch Smart System, motor, battery and displays. But pretty much everything else on the Tinker2 is similar to the older Tinkers we had. There's a couple of slight changes as we go through, which I'll try and pick out and explain to you all the special parts of it. This bike is actually Rufus's bike. Now, he's half bought this one from us. And because we didn't have our test one in yet, we brought this instead. But unfortunately, he's already made one change to it, and he's gone and put knobbly tyres on it. So please ignore the knobbly tyres, they're not standard. Rufus has chucked them on, they are quite cool. And I think Rufus is going to do some BMX style stuff at some point. He'll probably cut it into this video and look really cool. Either that, or he'll get a photo of him with black eyes and stuff where he's fallen off it.
That'll do. I didn't crash. Not in A&E. Ripped my trousers, but I'm all right with that.
Starting at the front of this bike is fitted with a 20-inch wheel, so it's quite a small wheel, so it's a compact e-bike, but the 20-inch wheel is quite a wide tyre on it as well, so it means when you're riding it, it feels very agile, but it feels quite stable on the road as well. So for those of you who have ever ridden something like a Brompton, you'll know it's got quite a twitch to it and it's quite a sort of a bit of a wobble. It takes a while to get used to. Something like this, where it's got a very wide tyre on it, feels a lot more planted, a lot more stable when you're riding it. So it's a 20-inch wheel. It's also fitted with hydraulic brakes. So we've got some really powerful brakes on this for stopping. Very classy. They are Tetra or Riga brakes, I think they are, hydraulics. Mudguards are standard, front and rear. Got lights, front and rear standard, that's all in there as well. We've got suspension, so it's a sprung suspension with a preload on the left-hand side, so it just makes a more comfortable ride as well. So moving up the bike a bit further, then we get to the stem, and the stem is where this bike starts to get really special because it's got a couple of different adjustments on it. So this bike is designed to be ridden by anybody. So I can't remember the exact sizes, but I'm 6'1". I have the saddle right up where as high as it will go. But you can also have the handlebar adjusted up and down. 2 different settings on it. So got levers on the front here. We lift them up and a little lever so we can set the handlebars at 3 different angles to get you more space on the bike. Put it back to where you want it, drop them down. And then it's got another one here, so you can change the height of the handlebars as well, if I can find it. And there's a little brass button that you press on the front, you pop it in, and you can set it where you want and close it again. So you can get loads of different rider sizes all onto the one bike. That makes this brilliant. The other nice thing about this bike, if you're going to be using it for a commute, and your commute involves a bit of a train journey or something, you can get your bike on, and if there's no space, you can actually get it tucked under the luggage shelf that's in there. Try not to scratch Rufus's new bike as I do this. So you can start dropping stuff down, so you can just sneak it in out the way, and it's quite a handy thing to have, and it's really easy just to put it all back together as well. So I take my Tinker on the train all the time. So if I'm travelling from Nailsworth down to Bristol, jump on the train, I've got about a 45-minute ride to the train journey, half an hour, then into Bristol, off the other side and across town. I never get stopped, it's easy, you don't even have to book a space because it will sit into the gaps everywhere. So really useful for going on the trains as well. I've got 2 Tinkers because they're so good, and I keep them both in my van all the time, travel around everywhere, and then whenever I stop I hop out and I go and ride the Tinker. So a little bit greedy, but definitely a worthwhile. And it fits sideways across my van as well, so it's a good bike to have. It only comes in 1 gear specification, and it's called the Tinker2 Vario. So that means it's an Enviolo hub, so a continuously variable hub with a belt drive. Your gear shift is here on the right hand side, and you're just going to twist it to change gear, and there's a little person on a bike on a hill, and you can see them move. So if you want to go up a hill, you're going to twist it away from you, which is a lower gear, and if you want to go on the flat, you're going to twist it towards you for a higher gear to travel at faster speeds. On the left-hand side here, this is called the Bosch LED remote. This provides all the information you really need to know on your bike. So a set of lights on the left-hand side here will show you how much battery you've got left. The color here is going to show you the setting you're in. So you've got Eco, Tour, Sport and Turbo. You can stick it in, instead of Tour, you can have that changed to Auto, and you'll whack it in Auto and do nothing, and it will move all the way up to Turbo and back down again. Uses a bit more battery, but it's a nice simple setting if you're going to use these in the most basic format. Little button, you press and hold the plus button and it will switch the front light and rear light on and off. And it's got a walk assist as well on there, so you can press and hold that and it will walk alongside you. On this bike, Rufus has gone for the Kiox 300 upgrade. So it's this screen that's in the middle here. It's a £47 cost to add this screen on it if you want it as well. Really nice thing though, if you go for this screen, when you take it off, there's a little clamp behind it, and you can use that to mount something called the smartphone grip from Bosch, and that allows you to have your phone here sitting as a full sat nav and everything else to go with it. But the Kiox 300 is a pretty cool thing to go for 47 quid. I'd almost just tick that box and do that and go for it. Moving down the bike, this bit is really cool. It used to have a 500 watt-hour battery. Both my Tinkers have got 500 watt-hour batteries. I'm tending to get somewhere between, I'd say, 30-35 miles out of them. I live somewhere with quite a lot of hills. This one now has been upgraded to a 545 watt-hour battery, so it's just that little bit further, so maybe another 5 miles you're going to get out of it. That's quite a long distance on a bike like this. They're not made to go and do sort of 60 or 70 miles. They're made to do your commute, do your shopping run, a ride from the campsite, a short ride, you know, weekends sort of stuff. So a 545 watt-hour battery is huge. I've never run out of a battery actually on a Tinker, so it's that type of ride that you're doing. Moving down from the battery onto the motor, this is fitted with a Bosch Performance Line motor. That's a Smart System motor again. This one has got 75 Newton meters of torque, 250 watts of power, and a peak of, I believe, 600 watts and 340% assistance. This part's really cool. This is an option on this bike. As standard, you'd get a fixed seat post, meaning there is none of this sort of gubbins going on in it. For £140 as an option, you can have it fitted with this by Schultz suspension seat post. Basically in here, we've got a parallelogram with a spring in it, and essentially, as you hit something, it's just going to flex, and you'll see it has some give. So as you go along, you hit a pothole, it just softens the ride and it makes it really, really comfortable. You can change the setting on that, so you can have it set for different weights or comforts or, you know, styles of riding. £140 as an option, again, well worth it. You might as well just go with it. Again, belt drive on this, so all Tinkers are going to be belt drive. They use an Enviolo hub on the back, so by default it's got a belt drive. That means you've got no maintenance, so you're not going to have to oil it. So if you are going to be lifting this in and out of a van or onto a train, or you're going to be keeping it in your house, in your hallway, you're not going to be worrying about getting oil on yourself because you've got a nice dry belt that's sitting there. Lock as standard, we've got a cafe lock. So a cafe lock is going to slip through the back wheel between the spokes, and it's going to stop the wheel turning. It will stop somebody riding the bike off, but you're going to need an optional lock that goes on here, a chain extension lock, which is £47 if you want to fix that to something. Other things, rack, we've got a rack time rack, so this is slightly different. On most Riese and Müller bikes, they have an MIK adapter. This is a rack time rack. Same Bibius strap that's on there, a rubber strap that goes on it. But the rack time rack, you can get a crate, I'll show you, I've got it in a minute, a crate that clips on the back. And the crate is capable of taking like a pack of water, Riese and Müller say. We all know that as it will carry the beers on the back of the bike. But if you're going to be riding from your motorhome, your campsite or anything, you can also chuck your bag in there, your rucksack with all your sandwiches. I'm talking about sandwiches again. I get told off for talking about sandwiches too much. But you would carry your sandwiches and everything in the back. No worries. It's the other side. So lastly, the Enviolo hub in this one. So you get no option, you're going to have the Enviolo hub. On a bike like this, it's absolutely brilliant. There's no maintenance to do on Enviolo hubs, simple to change gear. It's really quiet. The motor's quiet on this as well because it's a lower torque motor. And it makes for a really enjoyable sort of a commute or a leisure ride, but it's a compact bike that is essentially going to fit anybody at all. Let me show you the box that goes on the back. So this is the rack. This is a £66 option rack. It's a metal rack with a plastic tray that goes into it. Essentially, unclip this and then Dan work this out how it goes on. Clips that on, clicks on the back. You can put this little strap back in. Put it over there so it's out the way. And then this tray, so that's going to have all your stuff in it. It's just going to literally drop in the back, and there's little rubber bungs on it so it doesn't rattle around and make an awful noise. I was going to say it's quite wide. It's no wider than the handlebars, but it does feel like you're carrying something on the back. It's nice to have. You can leave it behind. It's easy to take on and off. Maximum load in that, 23 kilograms. That's quite a lot of weight you can carry on the back of it. A few more things on the bike. It comes in two colours. It comes in this colour, which is matte black, or black matte, can't remember which way they called it. And then there's another one called crystal white, which is a white metallic-y type finish. Pricing on the bike is £4,399, and with the options of the kiosk display, the seat post, the carrier cargo box on the back and the chain to go underneath, comes in a total about 4,600. I think it's about £300 worth of accessories that you can put onto it. And that's essentially it for this bike. Now, don't forget, if you're going to buy this bike, when you buy it from us, you will get the benefit of having our Edmo Advanced package, and that is going to give you a gold-rated lock. It's an Abbas Bordeaux granite folding lock, gold-rated, worth £150, plus 60 days free of lacquer insurance. Also, we're going to give you free delivery, so we're going to bring the bike to you and do a full handover. And we're also going to do something else that's in my head, a connect module. So because it's a smart system bike, Bosch have got something called a connect module, which is a GPS tracker and alarm system that we can fit onto here. We're going to fit that as well. We're going to give you all that kit free of charge. It's worth 630 quid. So if you're thinking of buying a Tinker, come to us and buy it. You're just going to get everything kitted out. And when you're choosing your options for the Tinker, you might as well have them all. They're brilliant. They're really, really practical. Now, I mentioned earlier, I've got two of these bikes and I love them. One thing I love about one of mine is the colour, the orange, and I ride that all the time. But for me, the best thing is it's so practical and easy as a bike. When I think of some of the other bikes that I own, they're quite big, they're a bit harder for me to take in and out the van, to take with me everywhere. Whereas the Tinker, I can literally put sideways across my van. I can chuck it in there, strap it in, just leave it there, and it stays there the whole time. I can turn up anywhere and just go for a bike ride. And they are really nice for going bike riding. At the weekends, I'll do happily sort of a 10-15 mile loop on it just to get out of the house. And they're great for that. I'll ride it to the beach, I'll do endless stuff. I'd go off-road on them. Rufus is going to show us how to take them off-road properly at some point. If you are unsure as to whether this is the bike for you, then all you need to do is pick up the phone or go onto the internet, book yourself a slot and come and take these for a ride around Nailsworth. It is a default bike that does absolutely everything you could possibly want a bike to do, and a nice sort of cool looking kit, a bit like a BMX, but cooler for older people like me. Is that right?